I think it's madness to consider Israel Adesanya a top 10 striker of all time. And I'm going to break this down right now and dispel this idea. And I just put out a poll, by the way. And about 59% of the people that voted on my poll said that Adesanya was a top 10 striker. 24% said that he was in the top 5, which is just madness. And only 17% agree with me that he's outside of the top 10. Now,
got this clown right here talking about how Israel Adesanya is the most mid striker, and he said the likes of Petr Yan, Corey Sandhagen, and the likes of Ilia Topuria, these people are practically better strikers than Israel Adesanya, and you lot can't tell me you believe that. You just can't tell me that you believe this clown. I think some people, especially in the MMA world, but we notice a lot of these dynamics in politics as well, some people are naturally contrarian, so it's not that they have a strong opinion, they just like to oppose every opinion. So let's say somebody has an opinion, they would always want to be on the opposing side of that opinion just to stick out, basically. Because now we understand that controversy sells, right? Having a controversial opinion is what's going to get you the views. So you get a lot of these people make ridiculous claims, like absolute ridiculous claims for views. And guess what? His video got a lot of attention. His video garnered a lot of attention, even though he didn't deserve the attention that he got. But it garnered attention because he made a controversial topic that most people with common sense did not agree with, but people like me and probably people like you would end up watching the video. I've watched it, and I've watched the whole video, even despite not agreeing with his opinions, right? So I feel like we need to filter out these people. It's a waste of time, to be honest, to try and sit down and listen to somebody who doesn't know much about fighting. But some of these people are the most opinionated people you'll ever see about MMA, right? I have to make it clear. Right, the last bender, Israel Adesanya, the Nigerian sensation fighting out of Auckland, New Zealand, is the best striker in UFC history by a significant margin. Undisputed former UFC middleweight champion of the world, defended that belt in a division filled with talented fighters like Yoel, the Soldier of God, Romero, and the likes of Robert Whittaker, and former champion in the middleweight division, now the current light heavyweight champion of the world, Alex Pereira, knocked him out cold. Right? I mean, absolutely battered Paulo de Reza Costa, the likes of Marvin Vettori. So he cleaned out the division before Alex Pereira came in, and then knocked out Alex Pereira, who ended up subsequently going up to the light heavyweight division. And nobody can look at me and tell me that Israel Adesanya doesn't rank in the top 5 greatest UFC strikers of all time. That would be ridiculous to even assume so. And that gentleman in the video, nothing against the geezer, but him saying what he said is ridiculous. You know, I don't fault him for it, but I think it's misled and it's completely misguided. It's about his perspective on the last outbender, Israel Adesanya. Because again, just like I've mentioned, he's the top. Like, some people might argue that Anderson Silva is a greater striker, right? But when we're looking at striking technique, right, Anderson Silva's up there, but Israel Adesanya was specific with his striking. So when he started, never started in MMA. Well, Anderson Silva might have started in shooter box in Brazil, which is primarily sort of like striking base. But Israel Adesanya competed in kickboxing. He was a multiple-time world kickboxing champion. So there was a greater emphasis on striking than Anderson Silva, who started in MMA. So the last bender is the king of striking, and he is basically the greatest striker in UFC history. So I don't think we can sit down and try to dispute that. These are basic facts, right? So again, my issue with the guy who made the video is this contrarian sort of like narrative where people feel like they need to contradict a perspective, right? So they can be relevant, right? But again, I feel like we don't need to take it seriously. Anyways, they can have whatever opinions that they want to have, right? That's their prerogative. But at the end of the day, you know, it's not right. Stylebender is the greatest striker of all time. But anyways, I want to hear your perspective on that, to be honest. Maybe I might be biased because, you know, I'm a big fan of Adesanya. Could it be that? Possibly. I don't know, right? But I think we have to use common sense, right? And if we even put our biases aside and just primarily use our common sense, you would understand that even using statistics and obviously trying to use whatever barometer or whatever criteria you're using to measure Adesanya's striking ability relative to other middleweight contenders or other UFC contenders, he would be statistically one of the best based on his accomplishments. And again, he was a multiple-time world kickboxing champion anyway, so if that helps with that, even further helps with his claim as well, to be honest. So to kind of say that Adesanya is not the top 10, within the top 10 greatest UFC strikers of all time is an injustice to even say that, to be honest.